Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you've not missed too much. We're still on the POLITY, reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. And I'm saying Mercy Babajide. Today with me in the studio is Atiku Abubakar, a political analyst. Of course, I'm sure he's not a new face to the program. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you.
Good to see you again. And I'd like us to just shoot straight. State of the nation. Today's topic is talking about Kogi State in focus. Of course, the Kogi State election is coming up before the end of the year, and there's been a lot of, let me use our president's word, hula balu bala blue. But then let's start with the Federal High Court in Federal Capital Territory has dismissed a suit filed by an aspirant in the All Progressives Congress governorship primaries in Kogi State, Senator Smart Adeyemi, against the margins of the candidate of the party, Usman Ojodo, saying it lacks merit. While delivering judgments in the suit marked Smart Adeyemi, VAPC, and 2 ORS, Justice J.K. Omotosho held that Adeyemi's allegations were criminal in nature. And he also alleged that elections are not owed and that the produced results were forged. He said the applicants needed to prove the allegations of forgery, falsification of results, beyond reasonable doubt. The court noted that the burden rests on the applicant to produce the forged result or the original and the forged results to discharge the burden, adding that the failure to discharge the burden is fatal to the case of the applicant. Well, Justice Omotosho also held that the allegation that the election did not hold was also not substantiated, as the applicant only proved evidence from his ward in Ijumu local government area. Now, the court dismissed the case on the basis that it will not allow the will of a few, just like that of the applicant, to override the will of the majority. Before we proceed, I'd like to tell our viewers at home that our phone lines are, of course, on for you to join in on the conversation. And now back to the studio. Atiku Abubakar, what's your take on this judgment that was delivered?
Yes, it is not in all cases that we should blame the court, because you need to provide evidence. But in this case, it is difficult to be able to provide all the necessary evidence because we were on ground on the day of election. There were no materials for voting. And then what the governor did with his errand boy, Usman Ojodo, was because it was a direct primaries. So they needed to see how they take some few persons to a certain place, then video them while they are shouting Ojodo, Ojodo in some very few places. After doing that, they wrote their result. Of course, with a man who has no integrity, who should not be seen anywhere within the political space, the former governor of Zamfara State, he is known to be a man of very questionable character, a man that should not even be allowed to come close to anywhere governance is being discussed. He lacks integrity. He is a dishonorable member of this country. He ran away, and he was the chairman of the primary election committee. The man has no shame at all. I wonder what with the caliber of children he will bring to this world. Because you cannot be given an assignment as a sitting governor of Zamfara State. No wonder he sold his people to armed bandits. His people who were being killed, he was running up and down to amass wealth. It is a disgrace to Nigeria. He left the place and allowed one charlatan from Edo State called Patrick to announce the result. There was no election, so it is difficult.
Just like the court has said, do you actually have proof to back all of this up? If you are being called to court just in case to say, oh, Atiku Abubakar, you said the election never held. Do you have proofs to back this up?
You know what? These courts sometimes again they are very funny people. What evidence you want? There was no election. You gather some few persons. It's supposed to be a direct primaries. The same thing happened in Anambra State, where Andy Uba was said to have scored over 300,000 votes in the primary election. In the general primary election, don't forget, it was only APC members, according to them, that voted for him that had over 300,000 votes. In the general election, he couldn't get 100,000. Did the APC members, all of them, did they die? The over 200,000 votes that he lost, did they die? They just sit down in a particular corner, write the result, then court will say, come and prove. What do you prove? Let them be the one to prove now, because there was no election. So there's nothing for you to even, there is no way you can prove. You are going to start with his errand boy Ojodo at one corner, they brought this honorable member, the former governor of Zamfara. So what is even his name? I can't because I don't remember people who are not reasonable human beings. I don't remember their names. With one Patrick from Edo State, okay. They wrote the result and then announced it. So it's difficult to prove, but I think the lawyers know how to do this better. But there was no. But I must say that because the APC headquarters, the members of the National Working Committee of APC, okay. They are businessmen who are running business to make profit. That headquarters of APC is a place where I call bury the change. Because whatever you want, you just carry money, go with money, you will get it. From the national chairman, Abubakar, to all others, they are the same thing. If not, they should have set aside the primaries. There wouldn't have been any need for Senator Smart Adeyemi to go to court. But because they are dishonorable members of the society, Abubakar, a man over 80 years, is still behaving like a teenager. No wonder he lost his polling booth during the last presidential election. He lost his word, lost everything, because they can't respect somebody like that. That primary should have been set aside because there was no primaries. How can you allow people to buy form of 50 million naira when you know you are not going to conduct the primary election? You call them. This is politics. Say, guy, we are returning your money back to you. We are not conducting election. We have our candidate. It's simple. That's how you do it. But people look down on a man of 80 years. 80 years, you have not learned anything. God forbid.
Okay, now still speaking on Kogi State, and of course, let's take a detour from the election. There is this picture that I have here with me. I'm hoping the MCR guys would bring it to book. Of course, it's not a business program, but then we cannot totally rule out the fact that there's been rumors that Kogi State has paid its workers 2,473 naira 75 kobo as salary. And of course, in this picture that I have here, I'm hoping the MCR guys will put it up there. It's actually stating Kogi State, Kogi Suburb salary. And it's showing that it's from UBA. That's from the 9th of March 2022. And it's showing 2,473.75. Is that supposed to be a salary for the month?
I hope we can
for a day or
2,400 and
473.
That salary is much now.
75.
It's much.
It's much.
It's much for somebody to collect 2,400 or something in Kogi State. I know this staff must be in level 14 or 15 because for you to earn up to 2,400 in Kogi State, okay, you should be in level 13 or 14. Because I know. In my local government where I come from, a man went to receive his salary because that time they did table payment. And the salary was 700 naira. They gave him 1,000 naira that he should bring change. So it is laughable. That is the situation of the people. That is the situation the people of Kogi are facing. And that is why we are always crying out. That's why we are crying out. Kogi State, don't forget, it's an oil producing state. Okay. There has never been a time when the governor has come out to say that there is no, they have not received money from the federation account. But yet, what do they do with this money? They siphon all of this money. And that's why the president needs to do something. God will not forgive the president. God will not forgive him if he fails to act. You cannot impoverish people. Pay 2,400. This salary is much. People are receiving 700 naira, 1,200, 2,000. That is even on the high side. So why should the president just behave as if he doesn't know what is happening? I'm sure there's security report.
I'm sure viewers would like to know, is it that the state is poor? Is it a case of mismanagement or fund? Or what do you think this is actually, what has actually happened to the point where Kogi State has gotten to the point? Because we're not even talking about insecurity right now. We're talking about payment of wages. I mean, these people went to work and worked hard for this. It's something exactly wrong that maybe you would like to share with our viewers.
What is happening is that the amount of money we get from federation account, okay, and also from the internally generated revenue is the same money that Yahya Bello, his chief of staff,
Other Accountant General of the state and others are using to buy properties in Abuja. So when they buy these properties that they will never need in their life, because we have it on record, some of them, apart from the governor, who had a house or two before he became governor,
okay,
all others could not even feed themselves before they got to position. But as I speak to you today, some have up to 5, 7, 8 houses in Abuja alone. They have properties scattered all over the world because if, as they divert this money, there will not be money left again for payment of salary and other development in the state. So, and that's why the governor has resorted to intimidation and killing. So if you speak against him, he kills you. I am on the wanted list of those to be killed. Not only myself. Let me mention those that are supposed to be killed now. I'm supposed to be killed, and then the modus operandi is this. I have challenged the Inspector General of Police. I have challenged the DGDSS for me to be invited. Now, what they do is that they will come in a hillocks, dressed as DSS officials, that they are arresting you. If they arrest you, they are not DSS. They are fake. They are the killer gang of Governor Yahya. So once you are picked, you go anywhere within the DSS facility, nobody will be able to find you. These are the killer gang. This is how they pick people and they go to murder them. Another person again is the current deputy governor of Kogi State. He is on the list of those to be eliminated. Now we want to warn the governor. Let him not even try. You can kill me, there's no problem. But he should not try to even kill the deputy governor. If he does that, we will not go. We will not report to security agency. We will march to government house and bring him out. Well, because the deputy governor is our brother, we love him so much. And that is, let me mention those on the killer. So they will claim, according to the meeting they had, they will say the deputy governor had an accident. Things like that. That's what they plan to do. Another thing is,
do you actually have proofs apart from he said we need concrete evidence?
We get credible information from among those who are working with him.
But then if you are charged to court, you won't present credible information.
Let him charge me to court. Let him charge me to court. Another person again, we have to mention them so that another person is the SDP candidate, Murtala Yakubu Ajaka. He is supposed to be eliminated again, and Ahmed Atta. All of this, including myself, are supposed to be eliminated. But in the case of the deputy governor, the second plan they have is to start to initiate impeachment proceeding against him, because he has remained quiet after he was robbed. Because let me tell you, we need religious men to come to Kogi State, because as it is today, Yahya Bello has turned the people of Kogi State to be traditionalists. You cannot get appointment if you are not a traditionalist. You cannot get any sensitive appointment. I challenge Governor Yahya Bello. If he's not a traditionalist, let him tell us, where is the mother of the chief of staff? Why was the deputy governor not made the candidate? Because he refused. He believed he is a Christian, that he believes in his Christianity. Let him tell us, where is the mother of the chief of staff? What did they do? What sacrifice did they make? Let him tell us where the mother of the chief of staff is. These are important discussion.
Okay, all right. Let's take a detour from that and let's analyze the state of emergency on food shortage. As of this morning, the presidency and the federal government has made plans to, of course, get 500,000 acres of land, of course, for farmers, and they've said they'll give farmers incentives and all of that. But then there's been questions about, is this the way forward? Are we not supposed to actually feel secured again in our own country, given the level of insecurity the farmers are facing? Most of the farmers, we've heard that and seen that they actually pay for them to even have access to their own farms. So do you think the government saying they've said there's a case of emergency on food shortage, should that be the way forward? And I mean, going out to look for 500,000 acres of land for farmers, we've not even sorted out issues of the insecurity on ground. How are you going to protect the 500,000 acres?
Who are those that will be able to go to farm? What is key is security first, and the president needs to do something very quickly, because if the situation continues like this, people will not be able to go to farm. Already people are ready to go to farm, and also the support they always talk about giving it to farmers is politicians who usually divert all of this support. It doesn't get to the farmers. And the most important thing is even the security. If there's no security, there's no way people will. I don't know what the Nigeria security agencies are doing. We have the Navy, we have the Army, we have all of them. I have advised the president several times. If he needs to get the security situation of this country right, he should start by probing, by initiating a secret investigative team to investigate the heads of security agencies. Because they want to enrich themselves.
But we know we have, we have new service chief of staffs, right?
We should start by investigating them. When
but they've gone through the DSS panel, the
not the DSS, they go through the DSS panel when they had no opportunity to loot. Now they have opportunity to loot, they have opportunity to sell the country. Now that they have opportunity to sell the country, is the time for them to be investigated. Continuously, there should be an eye over them. How much they get and what they buy. They cannot continue to buy all the properties everywhere. They should not. See, and they should not even try to intimidate us. They should not even try to intimidate us because we know so much. They should not try. They are the problem of this country. They are the problem of this country because they will not do the right thing. And that's why you have insecurity everywhere. How can you say that illiterates are chasing people away? That illiterates, they cannot they take care of all of these illiterates. They are kidnapping people everywhere. It is embarrassing. You don't need to be a security expert to be able to deal with these riffraffs. But the greatest challenge is the corruption, which we have been shouting. That's the challenge. And once there's political will, then we have found the solution.
Okay, all right. We're trying to rush and, of course, stay in tune with time. But then the final topic I'd like us to review for today is the palliative and supplementary budget allocation. I'm sure you've heard of that, where one of the papers this morning, that's the Nation newspaper, did a breakdown of the revised money 2022 supplementary budget, where they said 500 billion of the money is going for palliatives, or 185 billion naira to fix roads impacted by flooding, another 192 billion naira to fix farmlands destroyed by flooding. My question: fix roads impacted by flooding, fix farmlands destroyed by flooding, is it not the same flaw? That's one. 35 billion naira for NJC, 10 billion naira for FCT project, and finally 70 billion naira for National Assembly. What's your take on that supplementary budget? The
supplementary budget, I think it also they included the
12 million naira for poor households to get 800 million, 8,000 naira each in a month for 12 million.
I think on this, the president is towing the path of the former president, who was a colossal failure, and the president will definitely fail. And not that he will fail, we will not support him on this, because Nigerians matter. You cannot. How do you determine those who are poor, and how can you help the poor by giving them 8,000 naira? Do they have thinkers? Those who can reason. This was the same thing we're saying during the Buhari administration. How can they come and to the same path of failure of the former president? If they want to divert money, they should not waste our time. They should just write the check and divert the money. How can you say you are giving 8,000 naira to people? What can 8,000 naira do? 8,000 naira is not enough for me as a poor man to feed in 2 days. As poor as I am, 8,000 naira is not enough for me. Only me. And then you say you are giving 8,000. To do what? If they cannot tell you to leave that office, I don't know why these people, when they get to power, they begin to misbehave. How can you say you are giving 8,000 naira? Buhari failed because of the same thing. Yet, what they will do is to divert the money. It's a miss. Now, those who have advised the president, I am very sure, they want to divert the money. They are already thinking about the next election. So they want to loot the money the same way the former minister of disaster, not humanitarian affairs, the former minister, Sadia, diverted almost all the money from this country. It's the same thing they want to do now. How can you give people 8,000 to do what? If they cannot think, they should invite us. We can think. We will do the thinking for them for free. We will do the thinking for them for free. Because we are advising them, they are not taking it. I'm not one of those that will just say the president will support the president. I don't need anything from the president. All I want is Nigeria. I want Nigeria to move forward. I don't need anything from him. He cannot even give me anything. But he should not take us for granted. I have been supporting this government since from inception. But you cannot begin to misbehave. How can you say 8,000 naira? If you want incentive to give to people, apart from the fact that increasing salary is a normal thing that should be done, because we have a lot of monies have been saved as a result of the removal of the fuel subsidy. There are a lot of money. If the president is serious, he should also reduce the amount of money he spends on himself and all of that stuff. That shows seriousness, so that we get enough money to be able. Let me tell you, all hospitals in this country, all, I've not seen an exception. That's why sometimes I begin to wonder, the CMDs, chief medical directors of hospital, if they ever went to school, or if they mean well for this country, all public hospitals in this country, they are smelling. If you go there, you contact more disease. You can never go there and be treated for the same disease, for a disease without getting another disease, because the place is dirty, smelling. Fix all of these things. Make it better so that the public can go. Now there are no hospitals to attend to our needs. Okay. There is no security, no water. You provide all of these things for yourself. Then what is the government doing? And then you are coming to tell us that you are giving 8,000 to people. How many people are you giving? And what is the criteria for selection of those that you are giving 8,000 naira to? And what can 8,000 naira do for a poor man? It can't do anything. If they want to do the money, let them lose the money and don't stop wasting our time. We don't have time for nonsense. They should leave the money and continue to loot. How can you say 8,000 naira? This is insulting. 8,000 cannot do anything. That money should be used, even if it's hospital, it should be fixed. I went to Medina in Saudi Arabia. As a foreigner, I was treated free. From the beginning till the end. Why can't we do something like that so that the poor man can benefit? If you take care of that, take care of education. You can do everything. These two things are very key. The health, education. Use the money for this. And then I have advised the president, you cannot do everything. Just do one project. And Nigerians will continue to pray for you. What is the project? Let us have 24 hours light. Who is saying that it's not doable? What is difficult about these things? It's not difficult. They will not give the right person the work to do. Okay, I have been saying, okay, we can do it. Then call me and say, okay, come and do this. It's not that I'm trying to lobby to get appointment. I don't even appointment from them, because if they appoint me today, after 2 weeks they will sack me. The reason is that I will never continue to say yes sir. I'm not a yes sir person. Even my own family refused to pay my school fees because they took a direction I refused to obey. They refused to pay my school fees. I graduated. So that's my own family. So what about God? They will sack me, I know. Everywhere I have gone to, because I'm not a yes sir person. But later on they will come and say, no, you are right. So that's the thing. Let's not even talk about this palliative. It's not palliative. They should do another thing. And how can you give National Assembly 70 billion naira? No wonder the speaker came with his two wives and they were almost fighting on the day of his inauguration. That is the reason, because it is just a place for people to make money. They are not for Nigerians. What are they doing with 70 billion naira? They will come and tell you the legislative aids. Reduce the number of legislative aids. Reduce it. This money is much. These people are not for Nigerians. They are very wicked. In the sense that people are suffering. People don't have what to eat. They are promoting immorality because families who cannot eat, they have forced many ladies into prostitution. They have forced many people into criminality. And then how can you solve the problem of insecurity? When the government is forcing people into criminality, I'm not support. I have never given excuse to anybody, because there can never be any excuse where you steal. Okay. But where people do not have good parental upbringing, so once they don't have any hope again, they will go into all of this crime. The government is forcing Nigerians into crime. The government is forcing our women into prostitution, because you cannot refuse to. If you refuse to do the right thing, then you are forcing the people. Not all people have the kind of mind that we have. That at the point of death, there are so many things we will never do. At the point of death, I cannot steal. At the point of hunger, I cannot steal. So, but not all Nigerians are like that. So the government should stop forcing people into criminality by giving money to people. Okay, they give them housing allowance. The current speaker has been in the National Assembly for at least 8 years. That I'm very sure, because we come from the same constituency. Okay. And the current Senate president has been in power for at least 12 years. Now they will give them housing, they will provide accommodation for them, housing allowance and so. But don't they have houses? Why should they be giving them another? Why should they be giving another one again? But because they are not patriotic. Hear me very clearly. The Speaker, the Senate President, they are not patriotic. That's why they want to enrich themselves. You have a house in Abuja. What should be? You should write to government, I want a house. So I don't need money again. He's collecting pension as a former governor. These people, they irritate me. Because the level of corruption and insensitivity of this our leader is worrisome. Where in a country where people cannot feed, where you have many families, I know,
okay,
their children cannot go to school. I know many families in Zaria where the current speaker comes from. Many families in Zaria where the current speaker comes from, where the public school, they were asked, the parents were asked to pay 700 naira. The children withdrew from school. 700 naira. I had to tell somebody that go and look for them for me. At least I have 700 naira.
Maybe those are the families that President Tinubu is trying to give the 8,000 naira to. Maybe it will go a long way for them.
It won't go anywhere. You are provoking me the more. How can you say 8,000 naira will go along? If you give them the 8,000 naira, they use it to feed. The pressing need at the particular time will be food. They use to feed. You are not helping somebody when you give somebody money for feeding. You only help as a government when you provide means for the person to be able to make income to feed himself or herself. That's what the government should do. Government should never. You are promoting unproductivity if you continue to feed alone. Give them, train them in a way where they can feed themselves. That's what government should be doing. Government should try and see that we don't import virtually everything. Government should help those. Okay, you go to Aba. I bought a shoe in Aba. Somebody say, where do you? This is a foreign shoe. Yet those who are making the shoe in Aba, they are not being assisted. What kind of government do we have? Then they begin to say, no, these are people that you cannot. You begin to bring in sentiment. We help all those who have talent. Help them to improve. It will help the country. But if we continue this same way, it will never help the country. And I will never, and I don't see anybody in his right senses that will ever think of giving somebody 8,000 naira. You cannot. We have over 200 million Nigerians. How many people can you feed? But when you train people, you give them the skill to be able to, in all of these palliatives of 18, only President Jonathan did something very wonderful. Buhari's case was not only a colossal failure, but he remains to me a disaster to this country. His own initiative, social investment initiative, was a fraudulent one meant to enrich the very rich and powerful people. What President Jonathan did, he trained some persons and gave them income that will be able for them to start and continue business. Many people, at least I know somebody who is still in business and his business is growing. How much did President Jonathan give? 10 million naira per person. 10 million. If you are serious as a government, you do something reasonable. 10 million per person. After you have gone through all the trainings, and they are sure, they also see that you don't divert the money for another thing. That person, at least I know one person, that the business is still growing. That is what government should do. Not for you to give somebody 8,000. What business can you do with 8,000 naira? Can you start selling granite in Abuja here? If you start selling granite in Abuja here, these criminals who call themselves is it road something that are always moving in, these FCT guys that are always harassing traders on the road, those ones are criminals. Once they collect suya, they go and eat. Once they collect granite, they go and eat. Once they see, there was a day I saw them, they removed somebody's car battery that he parked at the wrong place. So I said to the person, you should have called all of us now, so that since they are gangsters, let us join them, because that's how the country is, so that we will force them and collect your battery for you again. The same thing that the Nigerian police is doing in Abuja. You see, police. Let me come to this.
That's the task force you're talking about.
The task force, that Abuja task force, that's Abuja criminals, not task force. They are the criminals. They collect granite and eat. Is that how task force should work? They collect banana. They collect banana from a woman that does not that the whole banana is not up to 10,000 naira. They will collect all. They say tax force they will not allow to sell in Abuja. They collect. You see them, they eat the banana. So why should you collect from the poor and go and eat? In conjunction with the Nigerian police, you have touts. If you park your motor somewhere, or you want to pick somebody, they will enter and then say they are taking you to go and do registration. for you to register. One entered my car one day, I thought it was an armed robber. Until he say we have arrested you. That he wanted to carry passenger. I say, passenger to where? He said that we have arrested you. He took me somewhere. Because I know the Nigeria situation, I say this one, not 1 naira no they give you. So I realized that they are working with the police.
Okay.
Then what the current Inspector General of Police should do something. The police have aligned with these criminals to terrorize Nigerians while they are being paid with taxpayers' money. So now, if in the process, because in the process many of them have been killed in the past, some persons will see that they are this maybe somebody will think that there is an armed robber and then shoot them knife or kill them with gun. All of these things. The police is promoting all of these things so that at the end, if anything happens, they take the case to police station again so that they can make money again. This kind of Nigerian police force, we can never progress. And this country is not even on the path of progress.
Okay, right. In 2 minutes as we round up, I'd like you to, of course, there's this thing people have been saying, and one of our guests made mention of this said stuff this morning on the press, where he said, what's the difference between the 9th Assembly and the 10th Assembly, given that the Senate just okayed $800 million World Bank borrowing. Again, that's 2 loans in 1 week.
I did say, and I campaigned vigorously against the emergence of Akpabio. I said, and I still maintain my position, that Akpabio is a yes sir man. There's nothing good that can come out from Akpabio. He's a yes sir. There's nothing. In short, even in private, Akpabio cannot advise Tinubu. Anything Tinubu brings, he will say, yes sir, your excellency, your command is my wish. I know Akpabio from the things I have, the way I study these leaders. Before coming on air to speak, I study these leaders. I even investigate security agencies. I can tell you the ones, I just cannot come on air to begin to say. I can tell you the ones that are worse than criminals among the heads of security agencies. I can tell you the one that they are worse than, in short, to me, I can pardon Anene, the late Anene in the 80s, but I can't pardon some of these heads of security agencies because of what I know they do. I investigate even to the level of their families. There was one I know that because he brought in his girlfriend, one of the girls, of course he brings in many girls, one stole his wristwatch of about 4 million naira. He sacked his staff from work, depriving the staff of livelihood.
Okay.
So these are the kind of leaders we have.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Atiku Abubakar, for joining us on the program again today. We do hope we'll be able to take you one more time, maybe next week, and for a longer period of time again. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Our viewers at home, that is where we come to the end for the Polity for today. And of course, this week, thank you for staying tuned, and thank you for joining us on today's Weekend Review. I remain Messi Babajide. See you same time, same station next week. Bye.